So that world was really interesting to me. I liked the idea of seeing characters who were really accomplished, competitive women.
Life a la Latina presenta Socialiciando. Sí, Socialiciando. Con Alicia Civita.
How you doing, Liz?
Hi, Alicia. I love your backdrop. That's so
Thank you.
cool.
Well, I'm like 5 hours away from Cape Canaveral, so I'm almost there.
Hmm.
So I wanted to ask you, what is the Garcia last name from? Because they kept telling us she's not Latina, she doesn't speak Spanish, so now I'm curious.
I only speak a little bit of Spanish from school. I wish I spoke so much more, but Garcia is Portuguese. Portuguese on my dad's
Okay.
side. Yeah.
Okay, so your family is Portuguese?
Many things, but a slice, I'm so many things, but a slice of me is Portuguese.
All right, that's good. So it's understood. I wanted to ask you what inspired you to write this story because I found it so refreshing. It's a rom-com. Uh, you have the classic elements, but then the space aspect. It was very interesting to me, the setting.
Oh, good. Well, a few years ago, there were a bunch of articles in the news about the fact that NASA had its first class of astronaut candidates where it was 50-50 male, female. So I read those articles and I started to be really interested in what it took to be one of those women. And the more I read, the more I was so incredibly impressed with how accomplished these women had to be to even have NASA consider letting them even try to be an astronaut. And so that world was really interesting to me. I liked the idea of seeing characters who were really accomplished, competitive women. I felt like we hadn't seen that, and we hadn't seen a space movie that was supposed to encourage girls and women to go to space. Like the boys have had a lot of those movies, but I wanted it to be our time.
That's great. And I was telling Logan that he's the hot nerd, and it's usually
Yes,
the woman is the hot disc.
I know. It's great.
Yeah, I loved it. And you also executive produced, and I'm interested in what does it entitle in this case because it's not an easy institution to work with. I'm sure NASA.
Oh, yeah. Well, NASA, we worked with several NASA astronauts, but we didn't work with the institution itself because there are aspects of this character and this story that are just not realistic. So we weren't telling the actual story of how someone might make it to NASA, but we were so lucky because we got to speak with and do our research with several NASA associates, former astronauts, and I read a whole bunch of astronaut memoirs that were incredibly helpful for me to even imagine where the story might go.
Something that I liked is how realistic it is and sad in a way that sometimes, particularly as women, but in general, we have to lie to get
Mhm.
that first leg in. And that because how can you have experience if you're starting? Did you ever tell a lie like that? Well, no, not so big, but kind of.
I mean, I've never told a lie like that, but that's probably because I'm not as adventurous as Rex. I mean, Rex is literally aiming for the stars. And but you're absolutely right, the point that you're making that I think as women, sometimes our paths are not direct. We have babies, or we have to take care of our parents, or things that throw our career path off. And then you have to really make a left turn to get back on, and you have to be creative about that.
Creative, that's a good word.
Creative.
Yeah, I like it. I was creative more than once, I have to say. So
Good for
thank
you.
you so much. I had the best time.
Oh,
and
yeah.
the soul and the inspiration. So it was
Oh,
fantastic. Thank you.
thank you. I appreciate it so much.
All right. Bye.
Thank